Hello and welcome to the Futro Hidden Movie Gems podcast. I'm your host, Ty Spiker Christensen. I just need 3 little words from you. I was wrong. F off, a-hole! Close. Very close is what he was asking, right? All right, we've got Jordan Christensen on the podcast.
I'm going to butcher this quote, but it's something along the lines of, stop digging, we're so effed.
And we've got Cameron Mickle on the podcast.
Life is pain.
I think that's Princess Bride, Cameron.
No, it's from this movie.
Grant Mickle. I know it is, but it is also in Princess Bride. And we've got Grant Mickle on the podcast.
You messed with the wrong guy. Watch yourself.
That's right. I wanted to do, my quote was going to be that smile that he does, that euphoric smile. He's like, best cello performance he's ever seen, you know? It inspired him. It woke him up.
I know, like the left side of his face is like
life.
these like straight face, and then the right side is like.
Yeah, it was kind of great. I'm like, you look better menacing and terrifying,
yeah.
so keep frowning because you look weird when you smile. It almost looks manic, you know? But it was good because I'm like, it was a genuine moment of joy that he felt, and it just seemed to have a place in this movie where he's completely miserable. You might say he had a pretty bittersweet life being a mobster, hitman, hotel manager. So let's get into this movie. It was...
Ty, he works for a hotel. I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Well, that's what I said, right? But his boss is also a mobster.
No, that's what he says to the girl.
It's a
like,
joke.
She's like, "What do you do?" He's like, "I just work for a hotel."
Oh yeah,
She's
yeah.
like,
well, right.
Sure.
Oh, I thought you didn't hear me because I did say he's a hotel manager for the mob boss. Sorry,
He was just on a higher IQ level than you, Ty. It's okay.
Yeah, because you made a joke. It's hard too because like we're quoting the movie and it's all in Korean. This is a foreign film, so it's like I didn't realize that you were quoting the movie there. So that's really good though, because it's like you have to be kind of racist like I am to like quote the movie in their own accent. But I think I'm doing Japanese. I don't know how to do Korean. Guys, Bittersweet Life. This is an amazing foreign film. This came out in 2005 and it was directed by Jee-woon Kim.
And did this come out before or after I Saw the Devil?
This one is before I Saw the Devil.
Okay.
But
so
after
this
Kill Bill 1 and 2, so I
This
just
was
want to
him
throw
just
that
getting
out
warmed
there,
up for all
Climbing
this
Out of the Grave.
iconicness
That was
of
knocked off
I
of
Saw the
Quentin
Devil.
Tarantino's Kill Bill.
No,
just saying.
well, I just wondered though too if he is a fan of. He's got to be a fan of cinema because if you watch, there's a scene totally reminds me of Taxi Driver. Ty, when he shoots off the guy's hand, did that not make you think of that? I mean, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah,
you could just say any guy. I mean, a guy got shot in the hand doesn't necessarily mean it's from the same movie.
Right.
but-
I was going to say there are other scenes in this that remind me more of Taxi Driver, like the very premise where he goes into the lair of the bad guys and shoots them all up.
Yeah.
Like, that's very Taxi Driver. A little bit of John Wick, Kill Bill, a lot of different things, you know, revenge flicks.
Except this is so much better than John Wick. I'm sorry, I just have to say that. Oh, yeah.
It's actually
it's not better than
actually
Kill
better.
Bill.
I think it's just
way
different.
better than Kill Bill.
I love
it's
this.
It's more.
Yeah,
it's
it's
a
different.
closer comparison is maybe say dragged across concrete. That guy's face. Goodness.
Yes, that guy's face.
Poor guy.
Yeah, against the
Freaking
concrete
Brawl
wall.
Cell
Yeah,
Block
that was pretty
99
good.
style. I was like, goodness gracious.
Yep. So the movie stars our boy Lee Byung-hun, who plays Sun Woo, and I thought maybe I was racist because I was like, do all Koreans look alike, or is that the guy from I Saw the Devil? But sure enough, it is the same Korean.
Well,
So how
there's
about
another
that?
Ty. So the other Korean too that he kind of goes toe to toe with, that, you know, the guy at the very beginning where he's like,
Is that the-
just burst
the long-haired
into their
guy?
conversation. No, he just comes in their conversation. He's like,
Yeah, is
he's
that
like,
the from
and
I
he's
Saw
like
the
grabbing
Devil?
stuff.
So no, he's referring to the annoying guy.
Yeah, the annoying guy in
the
this
guy with the
movie.
long hair?
He is not in I Saw the Devil. He is in Memories of Murder. He's the guy, one of the detectives, the guy that gets the nail in the leg.
Really?
Which is funny because
Oh,
this movie, a
interesting.
lot of guys get nails in the leg.
Oh, my tetanus. Make sure you get your tetanus shots, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, everybody check up on your vaccinations and your boosters, okay? Yeah, because we're all going to be walking away with diseases after this. So let's get into what was like watching this movie. I only said one character. I can't pronounce any of these names. So like you said, Lee Byung-hun, Young Chol Kim, Roha Kim, Eric Moon,
Eric
Lee
Moon.
Jung, Yoo Mi Jung, and Oh Kwang Rock. So cool names. Oh, there's a guy named Jingu. Jingu. I just like that name. Jun Min Huang. Shin Min Minna. Yep, so I won't be doing that again. Everybody, let's get into this movie. What was it like watching it for the first time and rewatching it for the podcast? Let's start with you, Cameron.
Well, unlike Jordan, who is a psychopath and probably watched this 19 times for the podcast. I only had time to watch it once, and so first time watching it was for the podcast, and I watched it super late at night, and I was like super tired, but only the action in this film could have kept me awake, because holy shit, this is an insane movie. Yeah, but it's definitely spurts of like I saw the devil. I'm like, oh, I can totally see how this is the same director. Luckily, I asked Jordan, and he was like, yeah, there's a few moments where I thought it was gonna be like I saw the devil, but no Achilles cutting scenes, and I was like, hallelujah, refreshing.
Yeah, this is more tame than I saw.
Yeah, and there was two scenes where I was like, maybe Jordan's just too desensitized, but it cut out. But then it didn't happen. I was like, oh, hallelujah! Like when that guy whipped out the butcher's knife and stuff, I was like, oh.
Yeah, when they hang him up on the chain, I'm like, oh no, I saw the devil all over again.
I was like, I don't know if I can watch tendons be cut and sawed away.
Pretty horrifying.
But pretty bonkers, but really well done.
But harsh stabbing though. Did anyone feel that on the ice?
When that guy got him, I was like, what?
I really felt that, dude. Just like.
Then he kept going.
The freaking shanking and shiving that happened in what was it? Was it Breaking Bad? There was another one that did all these shiving really, really fast. I think it was Breaking Bad, right?
I can't remember.
Yeah, it was that one. It's like the final season when Los Pollos Hermanos gets like found out, and that guy kills himself in the bathroom with a defibrillator. And then you see all the guys, the head of Salamanca's men, and they're all getting shivved in prison. It's freaking crazy, dude. You're just like, they're killing people on the inside. Oh, it's so good. Anyway, Grant, how about you watching it for the first time, or rewatching it for the podcast?
So I've seen this once, and I think so. Jordan told me it was slow in the beginning, so I kind of didn't pay. I paid attention, but not very much. And so
Grant, let me instill this in you. I've told you a million times.
Yes.
Just assume that every shot
Dialogue
in the movie is
in
intentional,
there, yes.
and dialogue leads to something and explains the story and might give you greater context to why you're watching it in the first place. Just saying. But take it with a grain of salt. You know what? You're probably right. Just watch the exciting stuff.
Yeah. I was reading the subtitles and stuff, but I was just kind of not very invested, I guess, until it started.
Until
he catches a wine bottle off his foot, throws it in the air, catches his hand, and smashes it across the guy's head. It's freaking
that was
awesome.
Yeah.
We're talking about awesome action scenes, dude. Just flips the bottle up.
This guy puts Jackie Chan to shame.
Whoa! Now let's not get ahead of ourselves. It's good.
Yeah. So I love the action and just a great movie. Very enjoyable.
Great. Jordan, how about you? Watching it for the first time, or rewatching it for the podcast?
Well, I believe you could just clarify. It was everybody's first time watching it because it was recommended to us by Lindy May. Thank you very much. You're amazing. And
Lindy May, is that our sick fan on the show that recommends the most disturbing content? We love you, Lindsay. Keep them coming.
What did she do? I Saw the Devil as well or something?
Does she only watch Korean films? Yeah, she did I Saw the Devil.
Well, she started out with Memories of Murder, and then she...
That's all three Korean films. Is our friend Korean? Or does she just have
Lindy May? I mean, it's not a Korean name, but maybe.
Jee-woon Kim. It is funny when I think about hidden movie gems, because I'm like, Korean film is not something I've done, but what I really like about it is it continually surprises me, right? I'm sure you felt the same way. I'm like, oh, wow, I was not expecting that.
Yeah, well, I'm just so glad when people recommend amazing films. Like The Beast of War, I loved, and this film...
Beast was good.
This film just made my top 100. And I'm so glad.
It was good.
And I can see why you guys think John Wick is better. I prefer personally a movie like this where it's he makes a lot of mistakes and essentially meets his demise. This movie is so much more gritty and.
But does he? I have a few questions about the ending.
Wait, he gets shot in the. You thought he gets shot?
He does get shot, but at the end, is he not shadowboxing at his reflection in the mirror? What do you think that's all about?
No, that's a reflection early on.
I know. But they chose to end the movie that way. I think this is all a fantasy, but I want to get your guys' reaction.
Yeah, I wondered that, yeah.
I think it's all just a fantasy.
Oh, of the girl.
But it's okay. It's better than a dream. It's better than a dream for sure. Because he didn't wake up and he's like, oh, in a night sweat, oh my gosh, it was all just a dream. It was a fantasy that he played out in his head.
Well, really quick, I just wanted to say, after watching it, I got so excited. I kept doing all these kung fu moves, jumping around the house, and I've been doing that every day since I had watched this. I love this movie so freaking much, guys. This is my top 100. This director might make my top 10 directors. He might bump out.
We already discussed this, and you're like, oh, I can't take out anybody in my top 10.
I might bump out Michael Mann or Ridley Scott. No, Ridley Scott, so he'll make number 11. Because I love I Saw the Devil, I love this movie, and I love Tell the Two
Memories
Sisters.
of Murder? Oh.
No, that's Bong Joon-ho.
Oh, it is Bong Joon-ho.
Ty-
See, that's why I got confused. Yeah, excuse me. I got
Get
my
your
Korean
directors right,
director.
okay?
I think all the Korean directors are the same. No, but see, I know Bong Joon-ho by name. I have to learn this one though because he's got 2 films that I really love. Jee-woon Kim. I'd like to.
And
see
you're
one of
gonna
these.
love A Tale
And
of
he
Two
hasn't made the
Sisters,
mistake of making Okja, so give him credits for
brother.
that. So I think he might be a better director than
I
Bong
like
Joon-ho. Okja is such a disaster.
No.
It's a freaking dumpster.
Jake
fire.
Gyllenhaal's
Jake
performance.
Jordan's
Gyllenhaal's
favorite scene is that cow pig hybrid. That's insane, dude.
Okay, Ty, what
it's
about
a little
you?
Too much. All right, so I watched this movie for the first time and I liked it. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, this takes things from all these movies that I love. And I had to make sure, I'm like, did Kill Bill come out before this? Oh, it did. But I love that he drew inspirations from films that I love, and I think that
And he
again,
took stuff
what
from
really surprised me
bad
is
films like Kill Bill and made it even better.
Yeah. Oh, Ty, take it.
I know, no, because Kill Bill came out before this, and there's an amazing burial scene from the bride. She gets buried underground.
So
alive
it comes from
and
Zorro.
escapes.
Like this is a tale as
Again,
old as
came after
time.
Kill Bill. Yeah. No,
No,
I know.
Zorro came out way before.
Well, are you talking about the black and white Zorro or what? Antonio Banderas didn't come out before Kill Bill, I don't think. I have to look that one up. Are you talking about the Mask of Zorro with Anthony Hopkins?
I'm sure there's
Antonio
Kill
Banderas?
Bill wasn't the first.
I'm not saying they're the first
This
to
is
be
a
buried.
petty
I'm just saying
argument.
very
Just keep
stylistically,
going.
it's like the same thing. The scene of like coming out of the dirt, the way they had it, it's just very reminiscent of Kill Bill. But again, what I really liked about this Korean film is like a lot of things stand out, and they probably did things differently than you'd normally anticipate in the U.S. Like the way we make films here are almost so predictable. I have to watch indie films to be surprised these days, or just watch Korean films because there's like a whole new library out there of films that surprised me. And what surprised me about this movie is there were so many fun moments in it that I really, really liked, and there were character choices that I wasn't expecting. There were deep moments where I wasn't expecting them, and I'm like, man, we could really learn a thing or two from watching these foreign films. And I think American directors take note because these are really impressive films and very exciting to watch.
Yeah, I'll take a million of these movies over a Marvel movie or DC or Batman.
Yeah. Not the Batman. I know
Yes,
you're not
the
referring to the Batman. You're referring to Batman and Robin. So everybody's clear. So let's get into what were the 2 favorite things, huh? What were the 2 favorite things from this film? Grant, you start us off.
2 favorite. I think
It's definitely the beginning, right, Grant?
yeah. I really like the main character. It like shows him go from this hardened, like no emotion, just like hardened killer, you know? And it's fun to see him kind of like soften and like see him try and fight for this girl who like he doesn't even know that
Grant,
well.
you just have a way with
And,
words
like,
sometimes.
No, right? It's my specialty.
Maybe we should get Grant subtitles, man, because I'm understanding less than half of the Korean actors.
He's just
in
like
this
a
movie.
hardened criminal. Or like a hardened criminal.
No, everybody, we're just giving Grant a hard time. Grant, we love coming on you coming on the podcast. Just keep
It's
going.
okay.
Just
I cry
ignore the
myself
hate.
to sleep every time after, so it's fine.
That's right. Grant, just call upon Will Smith. He'll come and slap everyone silly on this podcast and insult you. All right?
Yeah.
You're doing fine. Keep going.
So I love the main character, and I think my second favorite thing is the humor throughout. Like, I love the scene where those guys are like messing with him on the road, and he just like gets out and like kicks their butt, throws their keys, and then just.
I'm glad
drives
that you
off.
think that's the humor scene, Grant.
Yeah, dude.
It's like the
It
humor
was
is
funny though. Yeah. It was
Well,
funny.
just all
I
the
agree, Grant.
dialogue,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
like when like Ty said, like Jordan and Ty took my favorite quotes, like the guy's like, "Stop digging, we're so effed." And then like when he's like the 3 words, he's like, "I was wrong," and then he's like, "F off, a-hole."
Or the lady in the hallway.
I
Is he
know.
drinking again?
Is he drinking again? It's like, did she not hear the gun? I'm assuming she was deaf, right? Because there were
Probably,
gunshots
yeah.
going off in that hallway, like moments before, and she's like, her first thought is, oh, he's probably drunk. It's like there was
Yeah.
bullets flying down that hall. Anyway, crazy lady.
Yeah. So
Oh,
those are my 2
Ty, did that
favorite
not
things.
remind you too of John Wick when he's building the gun?
Oh my gosh, guys, that's
Oh,
my
that
favorite.
was an
That's one of my
insane
top favorite. I
scene.
didn't know if you're gonna bring it up.
Oh,
now that you
sorry.
brought it up. No, it's fine because that scene is one of my favorite suspense builders. It reminds me of Memories of Murder. Or wait, what was the
John
was
Wick
it
3.
Mama? or Mother. It was the Mother movie by Bong Joon-ho, right? Where the water's slowly trickling toward
her hands.
that suspense building. There was a scene in this movie that I absolutely, but it did remind me of John Wick. So again, you got to give kudos to this, because without inspirations like this, I don't think you had that scene in John Wick where he assembles that Colt revolver.
Just that one
with
shot.
For the one shot of that first guy that comes to the door. But yeah, there's a great scene in this where basically he goes in under the premise that he was sent there to pick up these weapons for the boss, and then the boss he ends up getting the phone call, and they're like doing this game where they're trying to disassemble the gun and reassemble the gun, and then he's like, okay, but no bullets, bang, I win, and then all of a sudden he gets a call, he disassembles the gun, and he gets a call, he's like, hey, you sent your errand boy here, right? And he's like, what? No. And then they just look at each other and they start assembling the guns. And they're like, oh my gosh. And he like assembles the gun and he shoots him right in the head. And then he shoots the other two arms dealers. And then he has to like take the gun from the dead guy on the tail. It's just so unreal. Like, it was so exciting. It was a funny and action moment that was just so jaw dropping, where the phone is ringing and you're like, oh, please don't pick up, because he's going to get found out. And it's just so good. It's by far one of the best scenes in the movie that I absolutely loved. That was when I was like, oh yeah, this is an excellent film. So anyway, I just wanted to gush about that scene. Yeah, Cameron, you go ahead. Your two favorite things.
My first favorite scene, Grant kind of touched on it, is the driving scene, just because I think it's a great setup of showing what he's really capable of, and like kind of like when he snaps, I would not want to be on the like the other side of that snap, because you just see him, he's usually like contained, like he beats those people up, but it was for a reason. He's like, you need to leave right now, versus those people he was just like really pissed off, and then they like cut him off and were spitting at his car for I don't know what reasons.
I know.
And then he just like swerves right in front of him and just beats the crap out of him. I was like, oh my gosh, this dude is as determined as the I Saw the Devil dude. He's a psychopath.
Well, it's interesting. Why does he do that, right? Because he's calm and collected the whole time. He only acted in violence in the hotel to defend his mobster's boss's orders, because he told him to get rid of those guys, keep order in the hotel. And then this one seems like kind of a weird thing. It's right after he decided to spare what's-her-face's life. He disobeyed his boss's order, right?
So he just took out his anger.
So he disobeyed, and so he kind of was unraveling because he had made a decision for himself that was... So anyway, I do agree though, right? Because it seems almost out of character. You're like, why the freak did he do this? He was like unraveling, because he's like, I just disobeyed my boss's order. Like, I know the kind of guy I work for. Like, what are the repercussions of my actions? So I love that, Cameron. You're right. Like, that scene is so much more significant. It's not like he's experiencing road rage. It's just like, these were two idiots that had no idea the guy they were messing with. So like, when you said, when a well-dressed man gets out of his car and he like buttons his top coat button and he walks up to you, like, just drive away,
run.
peel the freak
Run.
out of there, dude. Especially when that character is played by the actor Lee Byung-hun, because that guy's got skills. And
it makes
holy
it,
crap, when he throws punches, they land. It just looks so
makes
painful. Kicking car doors at you.
I know, yeah.
It makes me
So
think of
good.
Memories of Murder, when the guy gets in the car with like those three killers, and he's the serial killer guy. And
no,
that's I Saw the Devil. Yeah,
That's I Saw the
It just
Devil.
makes me
Yeah,
think
yeah.
of, there's a meme where it's like what are the it's like when you pick up a stranger and she's like, how do you know I'm not a serial killer? And it's like, the chances of two serial killers being in a car are astronomical.
That's
yeah,
great,
but
dude. I think you're having a very unlucky night. Oh yes.
yeah.
You are having a very unlucky night too.
Yeah.
It's so great, dude.
And then my second favorite thing is just, I mean, obviously his escape scene, like coming out of the mud, and then like just you could see that he was, as soon as he was like, that he told him like, oh yeah, you're gonna call him thank for your life. Like I just love in this movie how they do the like. It's so childish of that. As soon as you're ahead, just to rub it in their face as much as possible, and then as soon as the tables turn, you're like, "Okay, I'm sorry, I swear." It's like I'll do anything, and then because like the stabbing scene is the perfect example. He's like, "Please, we can talk about this. Let's act like gentlemen." And then he just stabs him. He's like, "You really thought you could mess with me, you stupid idiot!"
Then he pulls out the gun. And he's
Then
like,
he shoots him in the foot. Yeah, and then he starts limping away. Oh, please spare me. Oh, it's the worst.
But yeah, his escape scene is just bonkers. All the action, the nails in people's body parts, from the fire into
removes the plank of wood.
yeah, and
It's like we've went
yeah, and
out
then
of there.
freaking hitting people in like the face with fire and just driving and running them over. It was just so much. It was just bonkers. And I liked it how, because I was gonna have a nitpick if he just like beat them all up and they just all stayed down and he just got away. The fact that he had to like literally drive away with people jumping on the car, I was like, that's more realistic. Because there's way too many of those mob guys The
That's
one
right.
thing I will say is, though, where are the fudge of those guys' guns? Like, you're in the mafia and the mob,
For
and
real,
no one's got a
dude.
single gun.
That's what I was wondering. I was wondering if like
No,
the
you want to know a
Korean.
bigger nitpick? I'll tell you again later in this film. There's a few like jaw-dropping moments where I'm like, again, I didn't anticipate them to do that because I'm like, who logically would do this? Anyway, Jordan, how about you? Two of your favorite things.
Oh, I don't know where to start. You guys mentioned, I mean, obviously everything I already love. And then just to add on top of that, Cameron made a great comparison earlier. He said that it reminds him of Heat, where it's kind of a slow burn, so much so like I was almost falling asleep. And I love that because the contrast, when you go from that to the most insane action you've ever seen, it just like makes it that much more like the payoff. I love a slow burn if it has an amazing payoff. And you guys mentioned Dragged Across Concrete as well. That movie is also, I feel like, one where it has a very slow film until the payoff, and which is literally like this movie. You got a guy rubbing his face across the cement wall, which is just so painful looking, but it's so entertaining.
And the
And
wall looked really rough and divoted, kind of like the cement walls of my unfinished basement. You're just like, ooh, it would not
I
want to
know,
dry
every
any part of my body. Yeah, the rug burn. Just imagine.
every hit in this, you just feel it. You just feel all the punches, and I just love that so much. I love how gritty it is, and and the only nitpick and knock I've got on the John Wick movies, because I love those a lot, is the fact that once in a while I'm like, okay, does every single shot have to be a headshot? Can he miss once in a while?
Yeah,
like
that's
I just wish it was a bit more gritty. And it just
Hey, he's tactful, okay? He's the most skilled assassin of all time.
but I just love this because he's
Once killed the man with a pencil, Jordan. Fetching pencil.
I just love how often he's like shooting and he's missing, or he's hitting him and just nicking him and stuff. Like I love stuff like that because it immerses me even further into the film, and I love using Cameron's word. It's really realistic. Like I just love how much I just love this movie, you guys. I love it.
Take it easy, all right? You wipe your drool off from your keyboard and compose yourself.
I know.
Yeah, I'd say my two favorite things. So one of my favorite scenes was the scene I described earlier where assembling and reassembling guns. I just thought that was a really fun way of building suspense and suspension because... Is suspension a word? No, because I think I meant to say...
Building tension?
Suspense. Building tension and suspense. That's what I said. Suspension. He's not suspended. Okay, that was a dumb thing to say. But anyway, I'm doing this all the time. Mincing my
Suspension
words
is
up.
on your car,
But,
Todd. Close.
Yes, exactly. Being suspended in there. It made no
our
sense.
host-
Ty, you kept
co-host.
calling me illiterate on the podcast in the last episode with, you said Charlie. You said, I'm Charlie, you're Charlie, illiterate nugget.
Don't be offended. I think Charlie Day is one of my favorite characters, but I just have more in common with Fat Mac, I think.
I might just turn
So-
into Dennis and kill you.
That's right. Yeah, did I say you were Charlie? I guess.
Yeah, you did.
Because of Charlie work. And Cameron, that's right. See, you get angry, but Cameron gets even angrier, so he has to be Dennis. I am the golden god. We love you, Cameron. I really like the relationship built between these two because it's very subtle. There's like moments where he's like staring at her and you're like, is he like thinking about killing her or is he actually like falling in love with her? And it's really sweet because in the moment where he's watching her perform the cello, I guess it's like the best cello performance he's ever seen in his life because in that moment he realizes that he's fallen for her and then you see the tree that you see from the beginning. And I'm like, oh, this is the moment where he's like alive or whatever he was talking about the master and the apprentice at the beginning. I finally cut to a scene of the tree once before. Or that was at the very beginning of the movie when he's watching her perform. And I'm like, oh, this is the moment where he's like infatuated and this is where all of his fantasy starts getting lived out, right? But it's like a time marker in the movie. Because we also see the tree at the end at the boss's hotel. There's like leaves at the top or whatever. So like the tree comes into play at the beginning, middle, and end. And but I like how his infatuation with this girl leads him to live this fantasy. Again, the title of the movie, Bittersweet Life. The guy, like Grant said at the beginning of the movie, he's very cold. He's methodical. He's almost robotic. He just doesn't feel a lot. But then he slowly starts to feel for his boss's, and he's like, I'm going to go against my boss's wishes, and I'm not going to kill her because I do feel something for her. Like, she's made me feel alive for the first time in my life, which I really liked. And
His girlfriend, I don't know if I could call her a...
the plot says it's his, so
Oh,
I'm guessing,
really?
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, he probably considers her his girlfriend, but she's also seeing someone else. So again, I don't know how, like, again, it's a much younger man.
Well,
which
but
is
that's
very
when everything
upsetting.
falls apart. He doesn't know. He thinks she is. Or he even says he knows, right? Like, he just
Well, he's
doesn't know if they're...
suspicious that she's seeing. Yeah, she's
also,
like he hangs
I
out
was
with this other
confused if-
guy.
was that a
and I want to
setup?
know if they're doing
I
something.
felt like he was setting him up to like test his loyalty because I feel like he already. I thought
about
he
that
already
too.
knew and just sent him to see if he would tell him the truth.
I don't think it was just a test, because in the end he does ask, he's like, I've been so loyal and everything. He's like, why didn't you just do what I asked then? Or like, why is this different? And he goes, what's the real reason, right? And you're right, Karen. Then maybe there's something more to it. And then he does say, like, it's the girl, right? She inspired this in you, because he felt it too. And that's why I like the moment between the two of them, because the mob boss is like, why didn't you just kill this girl? And because the boss couldn't do it. He couldn't bring himself to kill her, even though he knew that she was cheating. He needed his servant to go do it for him, because he couldn't bear to kill this woman. And the guy, his servant, the protagonist, he couldn't even bring himself to kill her, because he was inspired and enamored by her. So she's just got this amazing charm, but it's funny because it's like almost subtle. I'm almost like, I don't see it. I mean, maybe she was super cool. Like I said, it was cool that she did the musical thing, because the music really moved him, right?
All right, Ty, we get it. You're not into Asians, okay?
Yeah, I'm like, listen, I'm a married guy, so I'd have no problem shooting her in the back of the head. But
Zero remorse.
But yeah, just no remorse. Anything for you, boss. Boom, just blow her away. Bada bing, blow her brains out all over the side of the wall. But so I like their relationship that it builds, but it almost is sad, because it's like she doesn't give him anything back, but his personality is.
She gives him a smile, Ty.
Exactly. See, that's my point. It's so subtle. You almost miss it, where you're like, I guess that was enough for him to live out this idea. And I liked it when he's in his apartment and he's like turning off and on the light, like he can't sleep, and he's just like thinking, and then he's attacked, which is awesome.
This director likes to do that. He did that in I Saw the Devil as well. Remember, he kept flicking off and on the switch, looking at the photos.
And those mofos
I
appeared
love
on
that.
freaking Satan land. I was like, what the fuck?
Just out of nowhere, he's standing behind him, and then they beat him and they take him back to their place. So, but that is the moment after he attacked the two guys on the bridge, threw their keys away. Like he was like resigned to the fact that he was not going to follow through his boss's wishes. And I don't think it was just a test to test his loyalty, Cameron, but he did find out that he wasn't able to carry through the task, because he too fell in love with the. So that's at least what I got from it.
And so, are we to believe too, when the boss was telling the story about somebody he knew that was like this stubborn, is he just referring to this guy, how he is essentially like, even if he's wrong, he will stick by his decision until everybody or everything is dead, kind of thing? It seemed like this character is a bit like, I mean, like he's got principles, but he's also proud, and he'll stick by his decision.
Oh, even if he's
end.
wrong, he's like, well, I said that this way, so I have to go through with it. Yeah.
Because, like, gosh dang, he was stubborn. Like, there's a few times I'm like, just say sorry. Like, do you need to go through all of this? Like, holy cow.
And that's where I almost think that part of this is a fantasy, only because at the very end of the movie, after our protagonist appears to be shot and killed completely from the brother of one of the arms dealers that he kills in one of my favorite scenes. He's shot in the end and he's dead, but then we cut back to a scene that's earlier in the film, but we see him doing something that he didn't do before. He's like caught smiling and he's thinking about this thing, and then he starts shadowboxing at the mirror or the glass.
Well, and right before it switches back to that, he says, no, that's too harsh. And then it cuts back to him sitting down listening to the music. And I think what's interesting too is there's a lot of like mellow music throughout the movie that makes me think that that's kind of playing in his head as he's fantasizing about all this stuff happening.
Grant, I love that. See, yeah, because that's the whole concept, right? It's this classical music. Grant, you just proved my point, which is why I'm so glad that I have you on the podcast. No, but I never made that connection, Grant. I like that. To think that, yeah, it is almost...
It's just like Shutter Island, how
the title.
There's the ER noise in the background, proving that it's all in his head and he's actually being tortured and he's
right. So actually, I wanted to ask you, like, to you guys, does that enhance the story at all or change the meaning at all? To me, it does, just in the fact that, like, I like the moment where he did feel like he finally is living for the first time, or he lived out this fantasy, and then in the end, he's like, that would get me killed, but I don't know. And then he's super cocky at the end, you know? He's kind of like, hey, I just experienced living for the first time. Like, something that gave him joy, gave him purpose in life. And who knows? Maybe he'll still try to take his boss's away someday, you know? Maybe he'll take over his boss's job, and then who knows, right? Like, it opens more questions for me.
I thought when he was like, oh, because when I first thought that it was like all imagined in his head, I thought that they were going to cut to him like shooting her in the head. He's like, well, I could save her. And then he's like, but then I'd probably die. So he's like, so I'll just kill her.
Oh, it's going to be a Green Knight situation all over again.
Yeah, he's like, at that moment, Grant, where he's like, I should let you live. And then he's driving away and he's like, no, it turns his car around like he did the first time when he remembered the car that he passed earlier. It's the boyfriend's. He swerves at the end of that tunnel and
I recognized that before he did.
well, yeah, everyone did because there was that scene where it's like, oh, he almost gets hit. And then you're like, what was that? And then you're like,
That can't drive for.
but he has to go back and kill him, right? Because he's like, oh, that's the same car that dropped her off. Like, he's back. He's going back to smash.
I love it how that guy comes out of the bathroom and he just instantly knows, like, this is from the mafia.
Well, no, it doesn't matter
goes
who
to
it is. Yeah,
run.
it doesn't matter who it is. He tries to run. He just jumps across the sofa and kicks him in the face. Like, oh my gosh, fight. Like, I don't know what to call that kick. Swings his roundhouse kick to the face. Like, oh. Goes flying across the kitchen floor. Slides across the freaking tiles, dude. It's freaking awesome. But anyway, do you guys have any other quotes or nitpicks you guys wanted to throw out about the movie?
No,
I love the
it's
one
perfect.
psycho guy that stabs him on the ice. I love the scene where he's like, oh, you think this is funny? And he just takes the phone and smashes in the guy's face with it. I was like, I guess not. My goodness.
That was
He's a
that
little
was one of my
crazy.
only. I was just kind of
Psycho,
mad that
dude.
he let the guy get super close and just didn't like shoot him on
Yeah.
the ice. I was like, why are you letting him get so close and like just shoot him? Like, I guess it just
Let me
goes
tell you,
into
there's
his
a lot
arrogance.
of decisions in this movie that were crazy. Why would the mob boss go face to face
Yeah.
with this guy while he has a gun pointed to him and he's got 6 cronies behind him and they just wait till he gets shot? I'm like, do you not care about preserving your own life? Like, are you like? I guess maybe to this boss it was enough for him to find out that his bodyguard felt the same infatuation that he had always felt because he couldn't bring himself to kill her, right? So he sent his guard dog to do it. He couldn't do it, and he's like, oh, like that was more significant to the boss than preserving his own life because he has the gun pointed at his face. He doesn't seem to do anything or try to preserve his life, and then he ends up getting shot, and he's like, oh, like it reminded me of Django. But again, at least in Django Unchained, Christoph Waltz pulls out a secret gun and surprises Calvin Candy. And he can't believe that he got shot. But in this one, it's like, he had a gun pointed at you. He was there to kill you and all your cronies. Like, you know he
Well,
was
Ty,
right
he
there.
probably knew he was gonna die anyway, so he's like,
What do you
maybe
mean? He
he
had,
thought
like, 8
maybe
guys
if I
that were
say
watching him.
something to him and I approach him, like this is my
I
only
can
chance.
reason with him, yeah.
Well, not reason, like
Ty, with this,
you're-
he
like,
took like 19 shots to the body and still kept hunting him down. So yeah, I would try to reason with him. He's the Terminator, bro.
Yeah, you're like, and see,
guy
and
does
again, just to
not
be fair,
die.
like he does seemingly get shot in the head and then wakes up from that and still has a
I
shootout with
was-
like 8 more people.
Yeah.
that was crazy. And
now
then
that
back
you
to-
say that,
yeah, that
Yeah, I
was
thought
insane.
he was effing dead, and then he just like pops up. I was like, oh, okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
he's
I
not
thought he
dead.
got. Then I'm like, did they
Grazed.
just nick him on the ear? But that doesn't make any sense because they were standing on the side of him, looking at an
His
angle.
head was leaking blood, and I'm like, I guess he gets up to fight for another 8 minutes.
So-
and again, that's where the fantasy element kind
Yeah.
of comes in, where it's like he played this whole scenario out, and you guys mentioned like, oh, he would get stabbed. Like, why? Some people were making choices in this movie that I was like, I don't think they would really make it. But in a fantasy, that's exactly how you want it. Like, it looked stylish. It looked awesome. It was so cool. But, like, he really does have the skills to do a lot of the things that we see him do. So it's not out of the realm of possibility, but does hit, like, John Wick levels where you're like, he can get he's like the Terminator. He gets shot in the freaking head and he still gets up and he's like, I'm going to take you all. Like, he still kills, like, millions of other people, you know? Even after being mortally wounded. I mean, even the stabbing was insane. Like, he got shivved like 8 times in the lower stomach. He's gonna bleed out quickly, but instead it's like he ends up getting the better upper hand, and then he goes to the boss's place. He dabs him with a towel. I guess that heals you, right? in movies, right? And then he goes on to fight everybody else there. And I'm like, dude, he was shivved like 10 times. How many people brought knives to gunfights in this movie, too?
Yeah.
I'm like, why is anyone armed with a gun?
Yeah,
My
I'm like, you're the
goodness.
top people in the fetching South Korean mob, and you can't, and none of you are carrying a
right.
pistol.
Everyone pulls out a knife. Like, there are many scenes where people flip out a knife and then he just gets shot. You're like, oh, should have brought a knife to a gunfight, I guess. But anyway, that's but yeah.
Well, that's why I
so-
wonder if like if that's playing off of like in Korea, if it's like illegal to own guns or whatever, you know, if they're like going off that it's like only like dark web that you like get.
You mean
any
like
guns
a
or
mob
anything,
boss
you know?
might be able to get a gun?
like a mob boss. Yeah,
Gosh,
yeah, I don't
dude.
know.
he has a whole armed militia. Yeah, great. He had that whole place stacked with guns.
They're
and that's where he went to
they're
go arm
beating,
up.
they're torturing and beating a man to death and burying him alive, but you don't think they can get a gun?
Yeah, the only other
Because it's
criticism
illegal.
I have-
That's why I was like,
they want to
no,
abide
that's why
by
I
those
thought it was
laws
kind
at
of weird.
least.
Okay.
They don't want to pay extra taxes.
Yeah, dude. Oh, careful. Make sure that all your.
All your cronies are.
Is
That's
it
why
like-
I was confused, nerds.
I hear you, Grant. Yeah, what are gun laws in Korea? I have no idea. But apparently in this movie, they believe in the Second Amendment. I'll tell you that, man. Holy crap. Right to bear arms. The one thing I wish they would have done at the end, he had this big sack, I'm assuming, of ammo and guns. He only ever used the automatic pistol. I would have loved it if he like grabbed out like a
Or
rifle
shotgun.
or AKs or anything like that.
blew
Yeah, or
somebody
shotgun or
away.
anything else. But it was like, he had this whole sack, I'm assuming, full of ammunition and other guns, but he
Dude,
only
I love
used
the
this one
brother who
pistol,
just
so,
comes
I was
in,
like,
just
oh.
guns ablaze, and just ending everyone's life who's like hiding from the Terminator, and he's
Yes.
just. I'm like, okay, homie is invincible as well.
Right.
It's Terminator versus
Yeah.
Terminator Genesis.
That's great, dude. Anyway, you guys have any other quotes or anything you wanted to say? One last thing, I liked their chemistry just because she's like, while they're getting lunch together, she's like, "You're so boring to talk to," and I'm like, "Lady, this could be your eminent and swift and clean death that you're talking to. Like, at least don't be patronizing."
Yeah, she's
okay?
like, "You're so
she's like,
fetching
"You're so-"
boring." I'm like,
"He's
he's
just
an
here
enforcer
to
for
watch
the
you
mob,
kill
and you're like, "You're not very fun to take on
But-
a dinner date." Like, oh, what the fuck?
I know, but what was cool is she literally tells him like, "Oh, should I thank you for sparing my life?" Like she was very aware that she was going to die likely in that moment. And
Yeah,
I thought
she
that
must
was really
have really
interesting,
been
'cause she
attracted
knew
to that guy.
who-
Because if you're willing to die for him, bro, what the f?
I know that guy was a loser. Like we didn't see him do anything. He's just like a wimpy little young boy that goes to a club with her. You
Hey,
know?
but Ty,
Like,
he carries her guitar sometime or her cello. What the fudge, bro?
yeah, he carries the cello. I'm just saying they could have found like, I think maybe it was the actress that was her real skill, but it's like get a girl that plays the violin or like the lead part in the orchestra, not just like the lame celloist. Anyway, I have a thing against celloists, I guess. You know, celloists are stupid.
Yeah, I did think the violinist. I was like, oh, the violinist is amazing. And then I'm like, oh wait, that's not the
Yeah,
that's not
like
the girl.
the pretty part. Yeah, and
I'm like,
it's not her. She's playing the cello. It's just like dum dum dum. It's like it's not the lead part of the orchestra. That's all I'm saying. Just saying. But maybe that would be too cliche, right? It's like she's just the quiet celloist in the corner. Nobody seems to talk to.
Who's the side piece of a mob boss? What a
Would
wild.
you recommend?
What do you do on the
this
weekends?
movie,
You know, just
Bittersweet Life.
chill, go on dates with my mob boss.
Yes, I would recommend this movie. This is a 13 plus film, I think it says, but it says it's not rated on IMDb. But it said like on my Amazon Prime where I watched it, it said like 13 plus or something like that. So it's like PG-13,
It
harsher.
has several F words. I'm surprised.
Yeah, but it's in Korean, so it's like, is it really swearing?
Yeah,
Grant?
it's just reading
You know,
swearing.
doesn't pack the same punch, you know. Yeah, it just
It's
doesn't.
funny.
I
No,
don't
but
know.
I agree, yeah.
There are
It's
some
like
blood scenes.
TV
where it's
13,
like,
14.
yeah.
Yeah, it's pushing the limit. It's an awesome film, though, so I definitely recommend it. And I think it's a great film. I think everyone should watch it. It's a good movie. That's my recommendation. What do you guys think?
Yeah, definitely recommend.
It's like I Saw the Devil, but without all the like disturbing, disgusting scenes. You know.
Yeah, that might make one leave to
Deter some
believe
people.
that that's less harsh than, you know, swallowing vomited or poop pills or whatever.
Oh
Yeah,
my
no,
gosh,
no, thank
yeah,
you.
dude.
So-
That's insane.
Guys, let's get into movies that we've seen lately and movies that we're looking forward to seeing. Grant, why don't you hit us off first?
Wait, can I really quick just say what somebody had written to us?
Oh, we have a comment, everybody. Did someone leave us a comment on YouTube?
Yes, and Ty.
What? Oh no, did I offend somebody?
No, but
They have beef
well,
with me.
maybe a little bit. Okay, so somebody
hear it.
wrote
What did
on
it say?
Shutter Island.
Shutter Island. Oh, okay. People still watch that episode? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So Stuart Key, he said DiCaprio has creative influence over both projects. He explored the same themes through the characters in each movie. It's no surprise that the movies resemble each other. DiCaprio has had influence over each script. Shutter Island is better than the soulless copies that came after. This film is effing great.
Yeah. That's my
Soulless
boy.
Comics. So he's
I
referring
take
to
it.
Inception.
That's my
But he's referring to
boy.
Inception, correct? He's referring to Inception over.
I don't know,
Shutter Island.
but I'm just saying
Well,
Shutter
because he
Island is a
said because that was the
masterpiece.
argument, right? I think we
Yeah.
talked about it. Yeah.
Yeah, and you just
That's funny.
Makes sense.
soulless,
that's cool.
Ty?
Smart
Each
man.
person entitled to their opinion, but I just want this listener to know that they are banned from the show. And if you ever leave a comment,
You're
on
absolutely
our
not banned.
Comments
And
list
just
one
know
more
you're
time,
with the
you're gonna-
smart majority
don't-
of the podcast.
We will send.
No,
we
you're-
will-
yeah, you're
we
with
will
the majority.
Send, if you leave another comment that says that I am wrong, I will send Lee Byung-hun to your house, and he will meet you with a wine bottle to the temple. All right.
So thank you, Stuart. And then the other comment was Dan says on the Adam Project, He says Hypercube was a better movie.
Dude, any movie was better than the freaking Adam Project, man. No, Adam Project was good fun.
Yes.
Hypercube, I laughed more.
Hypercube!
I definitely
shit
laughed more in Hypercube for sure. Yeah, that is hilarious. Are you sure that wasn't you, Jordan, that signed into a different profile just to leave that comment?
No,
That seems very
that
odd.
made-
and
it was
suspicious.
Jordan.
Hey,
Yeah.
listener, if that's you that made that comment, write in again and say I am not Jordan or something like that, because I don't believe it.
Dude, that made my day. Well, then I could have just if it was me, then I'd just get back on and be like, I'm not Jordan.
It's true. Say something that Jordan wouldn't know or something. I don't know.
What?
Comment again, because I don't believe it.
Yeah, give us your
It's oddly
social so we
suspicious.
can look you up.
I do, like, honestly, we don't have enough listeners where I'm like, it's not beneath any of us here to get on a podcast down the future in the road and pretend to be somebody else and leave a comment for this podcast. I'm just saying. Has anyone thought to
No.
do that? No, just Jordan. I bet Cameron goes on and is like, hey, Ty, you're an idiot for believing the unreliable narrator in It Comes at Night, you stupid idiot. Anyway, yeah. All right, guys.
Sorry,
Share what
Grant.
you've seen lately. Yeah, what have you seen lately? What are you looking forward to?
So I watched Blade Runner 2049.
What'd you think?
It was pretty good.
Pretty good.
The visuals are insane.
Dang it! Dude, freaking Ryan Gosling screaming.
That's how I feel about Grant saying that.
Gosh, dang it! He's just so mad, dude. So much rage.
I mean, like, I just had zero context of what it was about. Like, it was interesting.
Wait, have you seen the original Blade Runner?
I have not known. So
Oh,
I knew the
interesting.
significance that Harrison Ford
Grant,
was in it.
are you in love with Ana de Armas now? Ana de Armas.
Oh, the projection lady?
Joy, yes.
Hologram lady? Yeah.
No, Harrison Ford.
Grant likes real women.
I don't. I like Ana de Armas.
I'll spare my thoughts on that. And then watch Rise of the Planet of the Apes. It's a good movie.
So much
I
better
want
than
to
Dawn.
finish the series because I haven't seen actually War yet. So I want to watch that. And then
Dawn is the best. I think you're gonna have most fun
Well,
with Dawn. Have you seen any
no.
of them
I have
yet?
seen Dawn.
Rise.
Yeah.
Oh, you've
I've
seen
See,
Rise?
Rise is so much better.
I've seen Rise and Dawn before. I haven't seen the last one. So.
Which one do you like better, Rise or Dawn?
I like, for some reason, I love the weight that Caesar speaking for the first time in the first movie
Oh my
has.
gosh, yes. Jaw-dropping moment.
So
is amazing.
good.
For
And then,
sure.
Like,
What's funny?
And
but I
James
think there's
Franco.
some really, I think there's
See,
some.
it has
that?
no
What's that?
weight for
What were
me
you
because
saying?
I watched the second one first, and then the first one was like, wait, why isn't this
Oh,
mofo
yeah.
speaking?
He's already talking.
And then he's like,
You're like, oh, he's not
like,
talking
right.
yet.
and I'm like, what the F? It was about time, bro. He just learned how to speak.
Yeah.
But you were about to say what in the second
Well,
one?
yeah,
though?
just the second one. I think there's lots of really cool epic moments.
Like the
Oh my
dual wielding
gosh,
machine
Kobo.
guns
dual wielding.
on
Yeah.
a horse.
That's so insane,
That
dude.
is bonkers.
Yeah.
Insane.
I
Dude,
forgot
that's
most of it,
freaking
so I wanna
awesome.
rewatch
That
it
is a
again.
screensaver. He's jumping
Yeah.
through the fire on a horse. Yeah, he looks like Satan himself. Oh my
But
god.
I love it's like they did the first movie does such a good job of like kind of making it like kind of like a horror movie
Yeah.
when like the monkeys are on the bridge and it's like there's mist, they don't know where they are, and then they're coming from the sky and like it's
Ah, the
so
monkeys, They're
good.
coming from the sky. No, Grant, it's that freaking
It's
gorilla
amazing.
leaping for the helicopter.
Yes, dude. Oh
Oh,
my
it
gosh.
just jumps in there. You're like, oh shit. But see, Don had moments like that, dude. Like the freaking when he's yelling for Rocket or Ash, I can't remember. He yells for one of the, or maybe it's Caesar's son, but he leaps into the air with a spear over his head and dive bombs into the bear's back of his skull, like Cameron's bear in that one
Gus.
fantasy game you guys are always playing. Gus, yeah.
Yeah.
Stabs a spear in the back of his head. Except he can't mind control him now because he's just straight dead. But
So and then
Yeah, love
Elise and I have been watching Space Force on VidAngel. It's pretty funny actually. It's like
that's what Steve Carell. I like the first season
the first
somewhat. I like
the first
parts
two
of it, don't like
episodes
parts
are
of it.
hilarious, and then
Yeah.
it's kind of
Yeah,
Like
it's just-
there's golden moments that are funny,
Yeah,
but like
there's just not enough happening,
Yeah.
right? I felt
it's
the same
really
way.
slow.
I love Steve Carell, so I'll watch
funny
anything he
satire.
does.
It's funny satire, like poking fun at like Trump and everything. But I don't know. It's
That's kind of
it's
like for a lot
enjoyable.
of viewers for like that's kind of like New Girl. I feel like New Girl you just have to push through. Me and Grant watched like the first two seasons while playing Rocket League. Very helpful because then we
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
got super addicted, and then like seasons like late 2 and then 3 and 4 are really good. But yeah, you kind of gotta just grind to get into it.
Well, the hard thing about New Girl is literally the main girl is so annoying.
Freaking Jess is Satan.
I
dude.
wish he wasn't part of the
Yeah.
movie.
Oh my
Like
God.
every other
Zooey
character is
Deschanel.
so much
I mean, she does a great job of playing the most annoying character possible.
Yeah, I know.
That's hilarious. You guys don't like the lead in a
But
TV show.
yeah,
That's
but
hilarious.
it's one of like
The side characters are so good
Yeah,
though.
Schmidt.
I did start it, and then I remember thinking like
Yeah.
the second season is like 20-something episodes, and I was like, oh, they got like a deal where they just had to do a bunch of filler and fluff because obviously,
Yeah, I
you
wouldn't
know,
be
when you get
surprised.
picked up for that many episodes, you're like, oh, freak yeah.
That's the same
and
tie
you
with-
just run out of material so quick.
With Brooklyn Nine-Nine, like I'm not a huge
Yeah.
fan of Andy Samberg, but I love everyone
Shut
else.
up, you whore.
Yeah, Cameron, that's Andy Samberg is Cameron's character. Cameron, what have you seen lately? What are you looking forward to seeing?
I haven't watched too many new things. Just been showing people movies. Watched Social Network at my fiance's birthday party, and everyone loved it.
Did anyone else like?
Because
Yeah, they
only
liked it.
only one other person had seen it, and so I was super excited. Because I was
What?
like, "Have you guys seen it?"
Social Network.
And everyone was like, "No." I'm like,
one.
"Oh my gosh, this is a masterpiece."
It's like it's just the defining movie of our generation, you know.
Yeah, it's just one of David Fincher's best films.
Yeah.
Also watched What's Up Doc on Sunday with the fam. Movie's fetching hilarious, dude. Oh my
Dude, it's so good.
gosh.
I haven't seen that.
There's so
forever.
many good lines and just like action and stuff. Oh my gosh. Your bell's off. It's off key. It's off key. Fritz just looks at him like, F you, man.
Oh, I hope my igneous routes aren't damaged.
I only like
I
my-
understand how you feel, man. I hate when my igneous routes start even.
Eunice! Howard! Tell them who I am! I have never seen this woman in my life. And the screeching shoes just dragging away, leaving the marks is the funniest shiz ever. Oh man, dude. Steve! My name is Howard. Oh my gosh.
It's a classic.
Who are you? I am Hugh. You are me? No,
I
I am
love
Hugh.
his dramatic hair flips are the funniest shiz ever. Has anyone ever told you're sexy? Well, actually, no. They never will. I have an interesting observation. Oh my gosh. That movie's fetching hilarious.
Yo, me and Ty rewound that ending when we were young so many times. When he walks away, mochi boichi boichi.
Buncha, buncha. I asked my wife, so he pretends to be Croatian. He says like 2 words that are Croatian. My wife is like, all the rest of what he says is nonsense. And I was like, I'm not surprised. They don't want to more, do
And me and Jordan's favorite favorite scene is when the guy stands up in the back of the car, the convertible, where he's like, I work for the government. Hop
and
in.
the canopy is like ripping on his
And then he
neck.
jumps,
Like, why is he
jumps as
standing
they're
up?
their car's flying into the San Francisco Bay, and he just like launches. It was the funniest shit I've ever seen in my life.
One of my favorite things too is like, isn't he yelling at him to stop and he won't? Like the guy's like having too much
well,
fun.
he's like-
Right? He's like,
He's like,
"Okay."
follow him into the bay.
Drives
And
him
he's
to
like, okay. It's a random civilian.
No, dude, he
I
was
work
way
for the
too
government.
happy.
Follow that cab. Okay.
He was having the time of his life. Like, this is the most exciting thing that's ever happened to me.
And watching those
So fun.
stunts, the cars just, and the guy,
We might have to review that movie on the pod
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
and just breaking his back on that dinner table. Oh my gosh, that stunt
Oh my
hurts
gosh,
my soul.
that was a crazy stunt.
And you can see the real pain
What?
in him.
Anything else?
So funny.
And Grant, did you say what you're looking forward to? Sorry.
I don't even know. I want to watch the one that came out in theaters. Everything all everywhere all at once.
Yes. If
Everything
you watch it,
everywhere
Grant,
all
then
at
you can be on the pod.
Coming out in April. Yeah, it's
Comes out
coming
in April 8th.
Wait, what was the one that came out this past
It,
weekend?
it was supposed to, but okay, see, that's something
Oh.
I have to mention. IMDb needs to figure out, like, at least to list, like, oh, it's only going to come out in select 10 theaters this date, but then it'll go worldwide at this date.
Weird.
But it didn't say that, and so I was, like, getting ready, and I was going to go to the theater.
Oh,
Sit-
gotcha.
Jordan, you're not like a super Hollywood elite, so you wouldn't be notified of these things. This is in the know, okay? You're just a lowly peon.
Well, I had to look it up on Twitter. You can't find this information anywhere. I looked up on Twitter, and somebody's like, oh, it only reached 10 theaters, and this is how many people have gone to see it. It's like,
Weird.
what are you looking forward to?
Kind of just the same old list. It's hard. There's a bunch I need to watch, but one of my friends at work did recommend to me. He's actually upcoming director, and he recommended. He said he's going to send me his short film he made, which if it's any good, I'll send it to you guys. And then also,
Wait, your friend is a director?
Yeah.
Or he knows
he's
the
a
guy?
director.
Damn.
And then he's a Jimmy John's delivery driver with me. The connections you make as a Jimmy John's delivery driver.
If his movie's good, Cameron, we'll review it. If not, we'll just I'll bury it under like another Nebraska.
And then
So dumb.
Drew also showed me Drew wants me to watch the trailer for the new Nick Cage movie, and also for the last Viking or whatever, the barbarian movie. Yeah,
The Northman? The Northman? Oh my gosh, yes.
Because Drew said it's like it's a knockoff of a knockoff of a knockoff of a knockoff, but he's like, because the original is like an anime or whatever, but Drew says the anime is really good of just like a Viking who his dad is killed.
If there's a director that I would trust, it would be Robert Eggers at this moment to take something like that.
Has anyone ever told you you're sexy? Actually, no. They never will. Hi. Mushy, mushy, mushy. Mushy, mushy, mushy.
So I've been watching the show The Chosen. It's on VidAngel, and this is like one of the best
I've been
shows I've
rewatching it.
seen
It's
in
so
a long
good.
time. It's kind of like a retelling, but like a fictional retelling of the Savior's life and the apostles' lives. And it's just a really, really well done. It kind of helps you put in the context of like the politics that were going on at the time, like the Pharisees, Sadducees, the Jews versus the Romans, like all like it kind of helps put context and frame everything. Because like to me, it just seems otherworldly. Like it's kind of hard to relate.
Yes, well, there's so many, like, even the church that makes videos, you don't get to see the before and after.
Right. Or even the effects or why any of these miracles were performed. I was always like, why did Jesus heal some people and he didn't? It was always like for a betterment of like people. It was very choosy about who he healed. It was always served a greater purpose to get discipleship, and it like helped him spread the gospel. It was just it's a really cool. I highly recommend it to anyone to watch.
I also
it.
recommend
really well done.
Get the app as well, because it has kind of a behind the scenes sort of thing called Deep Dive that they actually go through. At least for the first season, they go through each episode. They
actually talk to Jesus.
Yeah. So they have
sure.
they have like a Catholic priest, they have a evangelist scholar, and then a Messianic Jew who actually knows a lot of like the history of like, the Jewish like practices and things like that. And it's really, really cool, like informative. And
I love that it's modern day speak and not this
Right.
old timey Bible speak, because I don't understand any of them. But this one, they just speak like how we would understand them, and it's like they talk about their celebration of Shabbat, they talk about their customs. It's just so awesome. So I highly recommend anyone to check out The Chosen.
It's like Game of Thrones, because you watch it and you're like, they're speaking just like us.
This could not be further from
Game of Thrones and Jesus should
let's
ever
just
come
not
close to
compare
each
the two. But it's an amazing show. There are 2 seasons, and I am just wildly blown away at how great they are, and really uplifting. So great shows.
Wait, I just had to ask really quick, do you guys like I Saw the Devil or this movie better?
Bittersweet Life.
I saw the
I need to rewatch I Saw the Devil because it's been a while.
I should probably rewatch it. I think I do like I Saw the Devil more.
I do like the fact that you can just sit down and watch this movie without, having to skip anything. That is very, very nice.
Yeah, this one's less depraved, and I think it's more subtle, and I'm really glad that it exists. It's kind of like just a preference. Like, I Saw the Devil definitely makes me cringe more than this movie. I'd show my wife this movie before I watched I Saw the Devil with her.
Well, of course. I mean, that one, but I Saw the Devil.
That's my point. It's like how much I get more enjoyment.
None of us are even considering
I get more
it. Ty's
enjoyment
like,
from
yeah,
sharing.
See what mood Matt is in.
I get more enjoyment.
Are you
I
in the
get
mood
more
to watch
enjoyment out of
Achilles
sharing
be,
movies.
sliced, or what
You
kind
guys
of
gonna
mood
listen to
are
me?
you in?
I get more enjoyment and
Right
out of
after a
movies
girl
that I
gets-
can share with others. You guys are so dumb.
Yes, no, I
get
agree.
more enjoyment and fulfillment out of watching movies.
That man
with other
dicks through his
people
poo-poo?
and movies that I can share. Yeah. Great, awesome. Grant, anything? Who are we on? Is it me? Okay, I finished. So I'm watching Chosen. I'm just finishing the last few episodes of season 2. Just a great show. And then I've
You're already
watched.
on season 2? Oh, Ty, we got to review this
season
on the pod.
Yeah, definitely. Do season 1, season 2.
I have so much I
or
want to talk
get
about
Brian
of
on.
that show. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
it's really impressive. Like the characters.
I feel like I could break down every single
story.
episode. It's just like so good.
I'd love to. Yeah, well, we should definitely
It's
do it.
so rich.
Your
Take
father?
it easy, all right? And so.
Christ is a yellow. You
use
notice
that
how
word,
he's kind of a yellow Ty? I wonder if that's why you like it so
Yeah.
much too. Christ has a more yellow personality.
Ty's like, I am.
You guys are being so blasphemous.
Oh, jeez.
I hope you guys are terrible. One thing I didn't end up watching was the Oscars, but I heard that they went on, and I'm sure everyone here has heard that Will Smith slapped the shiz out of Chris Rock. I don't know what that was
Poor Chris
about.
Rock.
Apparently, he made fun of his wife, saying like, G.I. Jane 2, I can't wait to see you there. And she's got alopecia, which is like a hair loss disease. So Will Smith gets up, storms the stage, and just
Well, first he's
slaps
laughing.
Well, he's
Then
laughing
he goes
with
He's
us.
up.
laughing, and then he realizes that his wife is kind of upset by the joke, and then he's like, "Oh, I gotta go, like, like fight for my wife's honor." And I'm like,
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm just gonna say I'm really grateful. I don't have to check under my bed tonight for Will Smith because he's gonna slap the shiz out of me because I already put him on my top 10 actors list, and none of you guys did. So check under your beds tonight because he's coming for you, but not for me because Will Smith knows, he and I did. He's one of my top.
I thought you
actors.
bumped him out for Denzel, Ty.
I did
He's
not.
like, I know you changed your list.
That's right. Yeah. And then, but quick question. Do you guys, are you under the impression or believe that this was staged in any way?
I wouldn't be surprised if it was, because no one has talked about the Oscars
Yeah.
in like 900 years, and so this is like the
yeah,
only thing
yeah.
that's made
They're
it.
dwindling in ratings. Millions are
But
falling
the-
off the
the
bandwagon. No
one-
one watched it. I didn't even watch it. I just heard about
the
this
one
after
thing
the
I
fact.
would say though that makes me think it wasn't planned is because the American that Will Smith swearing wasn't released in the American, like it was only Japan's releasing of it had Will Smith just blurting out the F word.
Or
The American,
in Argentina.
the American editing.
Cameron, in Argentina,
Get
they
my
did
wife's
reruns
name
of it.
out your bitchy
Yeah, 'cause no-
mouth
'cause
is
no-
what he says. He yells
'cause
it
it-
twice, and Will Smith does not curse.
'Cause in the
mind
American-
you. He doesn't even curse in his raps. Why would he curse in real life? I think that was a genuine
I think
moment.
it's because he's method acting, Ty. It's like when you get stuck in a character, because the movie he was in was like a
Richard?
kind of a.
Okay, so I here my proof or my evidences of why it was real is one, it was awkward.
Yeah, it was
like
awkward.
if it was legitimate, it would have been more theatrical and more dramatic. This was like uncomfortable to watch. Like if you watch the whole thing,
Chris
leading up to
Rock
it and
handled
after,
it like a champ though. Oh my gosh.
yeah, dude. Like I was so happy though that like Will Smith introduced his next role as Chris Rock's pimp in his next movie coming up. I'm so excited to see that. That was crazy. He didn't deserve that. Will Smith. What a
That's
jerk. I'm
that's
sorry.
literally
that was
his
a terrible
job.
thing to do.
His job
No,
is to
but
go
what's
up there
so
and make
funny-
fun of the actors like that night.
Yeah, and on top of that, like Chris Rock, I mean, mind you, Chris Rock should have been slapped for many things that he said in the past, a long time ago. So if we want to
Or how about
allocate this to
ruining
anything else, that's
the
fine.
Fargo TV series and ruining Jigsaw? The Saw
Yeah, if
series.
the slap was delivered for those reasons, totally justified. But in the end, like my favorite thing. Did I tweet you? Or I didn't tweet you. I don't even have.
Did
Twitter.
I tweet you?
I texted you guys. that article. What did it say? Do you guys
Oh,
even
no,
remember?
don't
It
even-
made me laugh so hard.
Oh, I read it.
It said
It
like
was so
it's-
weird.
It made no sense. I read
It's
the
like
article.
white people's reactions is rooted in anti-black. I'm like, what the fuck?
That was my favorite because, like, look, this were like two black guys on a feud, and I'm like, Oscar's so white, hashtag Oscar's so white, and I'm like, oh, you know how they just liven things up by introducing a little black on black crime in this, this event, and it was so bonkers. Like everyone, I was like, these are two black guys, and then like they still found a way to make it about race. Like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
just love that. Like they're like, oh my gosh,
Makes
white people
zero
are so
sense.
fragile about this. I'm like, the guy assaulted Chris Rock, like,
and then
again,
the
Yope
the
Palm
article
slapped
says
him.
like
Is
it's
it an
like yeah,
assault? I don't
white
know.
women are like posting and tweeting that like, oh, Will Smith probably like beats his wife, and I'm like, if it was a white dude slapped another white dude, they'd probably think the same thing.
Yeah, well, here's the thing I don't
don't know,
understand.
it's
Will Smith
so
and Jada, his wife, are in an now. If you watched Arrested Development, they say, "Does that ever work?" And Tobias goes, "No, it never does, but it might for us," is what he says. So he and his wife are, and of course they end in divorce. And I'm like, I don't get this. Like, you can, but you can't say anything bad about her hair. Like any other guy can, but he's like, this joke was taking it too far. Like, I honestly feel like Will Smith, like he's either like breaking, like having a mental breakdown, because like when you're so big and so famous for so long, no one says no to you. But I guess his wife does, because she's hanging out with other guys and other fellas. But it's like he makes this one joke and it's just one thing too far. I just don't understand. I really don't get it, which is why I actually thought it was more staged. But like I said, it's just like I heard someone say like, oh, he thumped his chest when he slapped him. Didn't thump his chest. I watched it like several times. He didn't stomp his foot either. Like I kept hearing like, oh, he's like a talented actor and he's done fighting movies. I'm like, Chris Rock is a comedian. Like Will Smith might have all this
He
skill.
did
but,
the
like,
voice of the
Chris
zebra
Rock
from
doesn't.
Madagascar, sir. I don't think he faked that one.
I don't think he got fake and slapped in the get the slaps the snot snacked out of him or
The
slapped out
snot
of him. But anyway,
smacked out of him.
the slap, smackety, smackety, whackety. It was crazy. I just had to mention this because I'm like, I didn't even watch the Oscars, and like, I know that the folks that run the Oscars were praying for a miracle, and the heavens sent them Will Smith in this moment because they're like, because no one is even talking about the terrible Oscars that were like all the woke symbolism, all the messaging, all the virtue signaling. No one's even talking about it because it was overshadowed by Will Smith slapping Chris Rock silly. So it was just crazy.
And Denzel should have won. That's such bull crap. I'm sorry.
Which movie was Denzel in? I don't even know what movie Will Smith was in.
The movie
King Richard, but
he
it's
even
about
said
tennis.
his performance was amazing. You're like, he should make my top 10 actors. It's that movie you're gushed about.
A Few
Coen
Little
Brothers.
Things?
Joe Coen movie.
Oh, the Macbeth.
Tragedy of
Thank
Macbeth.
you.
Was that the one he was up for?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that was a better performance than I haven't even seen the tennis movie though, so I should make that caveat. But
Yeah, I want to watch King Richard.
But now I want to watch
bought
it.
it.
I want to
saw
see
you
what
did cheat.
what made Will Smith descend into madness to be willing to assault Chris Rock like that on stage in front of millions of people. You want to talk about privilege? You can just smack someone on live TV and get off scot-free. Like, that's amazing to me. Because Chris Rock said he's not going to press charges, but like the city still could, or like the state of California can still press charges. They could still charge him. You don't have to have the victim willing to press charges for the state, but they're not going to because he's rich and famous. He can do whatever the shiz he wants.
They give him an Oscar for doing it. They're like,
Yeah, and then he gets up and gives us a speech.
Yeah,
It was
and
6
they
minutes
were
long.
too afraid
I was
to
like, no
turn
one
on
would
the
go up and
music.
say, "Hey, your time is up," or start playing the music because he'd just be slapping. And even the person holding the award,
Your
he's like,
time's up.
backhands him. Tries to start playing him off. He slaps the sound designer or the sound mixer or whatever. That was crazy. And then like he didn't even apologize. He apologized to the Academy. He apologized to his family. Not to Chris Rock. He didn't even apologize once to him. I'm like, what the bruh? I have so many questions. Like I said, I don't think it was scripted. But the Academy is like, oh my gosh, we just became relevant again. Thank you.
Yeah. They
Seriously, because,
just slipped Will Smith a check for $800 million. He's like, what's this for? For slapping Chris? He's
I just
like,
don't.
"Oh, okay."
I don't buy that Will Smith would be involved in this. Like, if it was like Amy Schumer and like another raunchy character or something like that, like it could have been anyone else, but not Will
Hey,
Smith.
Amy Schumer. I hope she dies.
Oh, she's the worst.
The worst
My
comedian.
favorite is like the Oscars were so when they got up there. They're like, they're opposing the Florida bill. Anyway, these idiots. These are our better morals. I literally cringed and I was like, why do we even do movie podcasts anymore? Because all the actors suck. Like they're dumb. They're homicidal maniacs under the surface, just waiting for the wrong joke. The best meme though, Jordan, it was from you that you sent me
Alec
with Alec
Baldwin.
Baldwin.
Gosh dang.
Meanwhile, Alec Baldwin's
Waiting.
just waiting for someone to insult his wife. I died. He's holding a gun in his hand. I died when I saw that. That was by far the funniest meme.
Yeah. I spent
I
like the
just, like,
whole day on Twitter.
searching memes.
Twitter is poison.
It is, but dude, that's so funny. But just what a weird moment in culture. I just had to throw that out there because, anyway, I didn't watch the Oscars, but I heard about it after the fact. So, anyway, looking forward to seeing more of The Chosen. And I wrote down 2 movies I wanted to watch. I wanted to watch Funny People. It's got Adam Sandler and Seth Rogen. And I heard it's like kind of funny, but it's more of a dramatic Judd Apatow movie. And then I do want to see American Gangster. It's just been on my list forever. I haven't seen it, so I'm going to look forward to see those 2. Jordan, how about you? What are you watching? What are you looking forward to?
Looking forward to the movies coming out. Like Cameron said, The Northman. I cannot wait. And then Grant was
Yes,
right.
The
Everything, everywhere, all at once. Oh my gosh, the Daniels.
Yeah, we're reviewing one on the pod for sure.
So we got some fun movies this month coming out. Or the next month with some amazing movies. And I mean, I'm even excited to see Ambulance. You know what? Michael Bay.
Yeah, baby.
Ambulance.
Performance
Jake
of the
Gyllenhaal,
year.
Michael Bay. I can't say I'm not curious to see
The
it.
best
you know?
director of all time with the best actor.
Best director of all time. The most explosive actor of all time, for sure.
I just been
director.
rewatching a lot of my favorite movies because I'm just tired of all this other garbage. So I've just been I rewatched Wrath of Man, so freaking good. I'm sorry, but it's Guy Ritchie's best movie. Excuse me.
Oh, gentlemen, it's so much better. Dude, that's it. This movie.
It's not Guy Ritchie's best movie.
Gentleman.
There was parts that was I was like, oh, it's kind of like The Gentleman. Of just like the mob
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah,
I
but
do want to rewatch it, but it's not
still
better, than
Gentleman.
It's not better than Gentleman. It's not better than Snatch.
And then I
it's not
rewatched
better than
Dawn of the Dead and Land of the Dead. Oh my gosh, I'm a zombie freak. I love those movies. I rewatched Truman Show again because it's a masterpiece. My gosh, the music is so good.
Was that your first time watching or second time?
And then, I wanted to throw out real quick. I'm now watching Atlanta season 3, which after
Don't spoil
the 4
no
or 5
spoil
year
nada.
hiatus. Oh my gosh. Well, have you seen any of it yet?
No.
Okay. I
I've been
watched
editing.
the first episode and a half. So yeah, we'll have to talk about it the whole season or the whole series as a whole. So, but I'm very excited because it's great.
Is it as good though as season 2 was unbelievable?
I don't know. Like I said, you're gonna have to watch it because I don't want to say anything to sway you either
So I
way.
watched the
but I will
trailer and I'm
say-
like, what direction are they going? This looks bananas.
Just real quick. So for those of you that don't know, Donald Glover said he's like, this is basically Twin Peaks about a rapper's life.
Oh,
If you've ever
good.
seen Twin Peaks, I'm
no,
like,
I need
it's
to,
a
though.
weird. Oh my gosh, Twin Peaks season 1 and 2 is unbelievable. You should definitely watch it. It holds up to this day. I watched it like 2 years ago, and I was like, this is like one of the best shows like out there. It's weird. It's
we'll have to check it out.
out there, but it's good. It's really good. Definitely check it out, Grant. You and Elise would like it. I guarantee it. Twin Peaks. Watch the first 2 seasons, and like
If
after
there's
that,
language, she won't. But
what was that?
if there's language, she won't enjoy it.
Oh, well, it's TV 13 or 14, so but there's not that much language. Twin Peaks.
1990.
Yeah. Oh, are you thinking of Atlanta? Yeah. No, I'm
No,
talking
there's a
about Twin
movie
Peaks,
as
which
well,
is the
Ty.
show.
There's a movie, Twin Peaks.
Oh, there is a movie, but watch the first 2 seasons because the movie is something that recaps
TV
or
mature,
like
bro.
finishes the show.
Oh, yeah.
It's weird, but David Lynch, man, he's a very interesting guy.
I also
so.
watched Hot Tub Time Machine 2, and not good. Don't watch it.
I don't think the first one was good, but
Whatever, you
but
laughed.
Jordan thought this. No, we had a great time together.
Oh,
All right,
and I
so-
did go to the theaters. Cameron, he was asking about X. I saw it in the theaters, and yeah, Ty, you were right.
I was right.
A lot of.
Just stay away from it, dude.
Listen, but
It's not worth it.
there was a lot of thought put into it. It's A24, so I mean, there's a lot of the idea is like Cameron constantly using the word broken record, and there is a scene where there's a record going in a circle, and there's this idea of like people going through cycles of life. And it's just like literally the rebellious young girl that's walking around the movie. There's an older woman who's played by the same girl, which is kind of creative. And it's the idea that like, and she's like coveting this younger girl and her young body and skin. So she's super jealous, and then she goes and kills everybody.
Oh, that yummy skin.
But some of the second half is really great because the violence is amazing. But the first half, it's like, do I need to see all this stuff?
All right, everybody. This has been Futro Hidden Movie Gems. Thank you so much for tuning in. Leave us an email, futuromovies@gmail.com. To tell us a movie that you'd like us to review, leave a comment on YouTube, 5 stars on Apple Podcast or wherever you listen to podcasts. We got our latest 2 episodes and the last few up there. All of our catalog is on YouTube. Check us out there, and check us out our Instagram. We always put our minute recaps of each episode that are really
I
fun.
resaw American Psycho and In Bruges, both amazing movies. Oh, so good.
You keep calling it Bruges. It's in Bruges.
Bruges.
It's not Bruges or Bruges.
My Bruges.
Bruges. Everybody, this has been Futuro Hidden Movie Gems signing out. Peace.
Bye.
F you, a-ho. Peace and blessings.